The warning. Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck of the Lunar Defense Station, her eyes fixed on the holographic display showing the vast expanse of space beyond Earth's orbit. The massive screen flickered with countless data points, each representing a potential threat to humanity's existence. But today, one particular signal caught her attention, a pattern she had never seen before. "Dr. Rodriguez, what do you make of these readings?" She called out to the chief scientist, who had been analyzing the data for the past 6 hours. Marcus Rodriguez adjusted his glasses, his fingers dancing across the holographic interface. "It's unlike anything we've encountered, Admiral. The energy signatures suggest a massive fleet of ships, but they're using some form of propulsion we've never seen before. The Lunar Defense Station, humanity's most advanced early warning system, had detected the approaching vessels 3 days ago. Since then, every major space agency and military installation on Earth had been working round the clock to understand what they were dealing with." "How many ships are we looking at?" Sarah asked, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. Marcus pulled up another display, this one showing the three-dimensional map of the approaching fleet. "At least 300 capital ships, Admiral. And those are just the ones we can detect. Based on the energy readings, each one is larger than anything we've ever built." Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. Humanity had achieved remarkable technological advances in the past century: colonies on Mars, mining operations in the asteroid belt, and even the beginnings of interstellar exploration. But nothing in their arsenal could match the scale of what was heading their way. "Have they responded to any of our attempts at communication?" she asked, already knowing the answer. "No, Admiral. We've tried every frequency, every known protocol for first contact. They're either ignoring us or—" Marcus trailed off. "Or they don't care to respond." Sarah finished his thought. She had seen this behavior before, in historical records of extinct civilizations, species that had been wiped out by something that came from the stars, leaving behind only ruins and warnings. The emergency meeting of the United Earth Defense Council was scheduled to begin in 10 minutes. Representatives from every nation would be connected via quantum entanglement communications, making decisions that would affect the fate of humanity. Sarah straightened her uniform and headed toward the conference room. As she walked, she couldn't help but think about the secret weapon humanity had been developing, Project Prometheus. For decades, the world's greatest minds have been working on something that could protect Earth from any threat. But it wasn't ready yet. They needed more time. The conference room was already filled with holographic projections of world leaders when Sarah entered. President Lai of the Asian Alliance, Director Williams of the Americas Union, Chancellor Kumar of the African Federation. All of them wore expressions of grave concern. "Admiral Chen, your report, please." President Lai began without preamble. Sarah activated the main display, showing the latest data from the lunar station. "Ladies and gentlemen, what we're facing is unprecedented. A fleet of unknown origin is approaching our solar system at speeds we previously thought impossible. They've ignored all attempts at communication, and their trajectory suggests Earth is their destination." The room erupted in murmurs and worried exchanges. Chancellor Kumar leaned forward, his holographic form flickering slightly. "What are our options, Admiral?" "We have 3 courses of action," Sarah replied, bringing up a tactical display. "First, we continue attempting diplomatic contact while preparing our defenses. Second, we launch a preemptive strike with everything we have. Or third," she paused, knowing the weight of what she was about to suggest, "we activate Project Prometheus." The room fell silent. Project Prometheus was humanity's best-kept secret, a quantum-based defense system that could theoretically neutralize any threat. But it had never been tested at full scale, and the risks were enormous. "Project Prometheus isn't ready," Director Williams objected. "The simulations show a 30% chance of catastrophic failure." "And what are our chances against this fleet without it?" Sarah countered. "Based on their energy readings, their weapons could glass our planet in hours. President Lai raised her hand for silence. We need to buy time. Admiral Chen, you have authorization to send one final warning to the approaching fleet. Make it clear that we possess capabilities they may not be aware of. If they continue their approach, she looked around the room, receiving nods from her fellow leaders. We will have no choice but to activate Project Prometheus. Sarah nodded grimly. She had already prepared the message, hoping she wouldn't need to use it. Walking back to the main control room, she activated the quantum transmission array, technology that humanity had kept hidden from the rest of the galaxy. This is Admiral Sarah Chen of the United Earth Defense Force, she began, her voice carrying across the vast distance of space. To the approaching fleet, we have detected your presence and observed your refusal to communicate. We know what you are. We know what you've done to other civilizations. She paused, letting the words sink in. Earth is not defenseless. We possess technologies you cannot detect, weapons you cannot comprehend. This is your only warning. Change course immediately, or face the consequences of your aggression. You have 24 hours to respond. As the message was transmitted, Sarah turned to Marcus. Begin the final preparations for Project Prometheus. If they ignore this warning, we'll need to be ready. And if it fails? Marcus asked quietly. Sarah looked out at the Earth, beautiful and vulnerable in the darkness of space. Then we'll give them a fight they'll never forget. The next 24 hours would determine the fate of humanity. But unknown to the approaching alien fleet, Earth had been preparing for this moment for generations. They thought they were hunting prey, but they might have just awakened something far more dangerous than they could imagine. The warning had been sent. Now, humanity could only wait and prepare for what would either be their finest hour or their last stand. The deception. 23 hours had passed since Earth's final warning, and the alien fleet showed no signs of slowing down. In the depths of the Prometheus Control Center, buried 2 kilometers beneath the Pacific Ocean, Dr. Elena Volkov watched as the quantum processors hummed with barely contained power. The facility, hidden from even most of Earth's population, represented humanity's true technological capabilities. Capabilities they had kept secret for exactly this kind of situation. Status report. Admiral Chen's voice came through the quantum comm, crystal clear despite being on the other side of the planet. Elena checked the readings one more time. Project Prometheus is at 92% capacity, Admiral. The quantum grid is stable, and all nodes are synchronized. We can deploy within 30 minutes if necessary. What the approaching aliens couldn't know, was that Earth had detected their kind nearly 50 years ago. They had watched from afar as these invaders systematically destroyed civilization after civilization, learning their tactics, their weaknesses, and most importantly, their technological limitations. While humanity presented a facade of relatively primitive space technology to the galaxy at large, they had been quietly developing weapons and defenses that operated on principles the aliens couldn't detect. The quantum grid surrounding Earth appeared as nothing more than a network of communication satellites to conventional sensors. Dr. Volkov, Marcus Rodriguez's hologram appeared beside her workstation. The fleet has crossed Jupiter's orbit. Their weapons are powering up. Elena pulled up the tactical display. The alien ships were massive, each one nearly the size of a small moon. Their energy signatures were off the charts, suggesting weapons that could reduce planets to ash. But there was something else, something in their formation that caught her attention. Admiral, she called out, I'm detecting a pattern in their approach. They're moving exactly as they did when they attacked the Centauri colonies. The records they had retrieved from the ruins of other civilizations had proven invaluable in understanding their enemy's tactics. In the Lunar Defense Station, Sarah Chen studied the same data. They think we're just another primitive species, she said, a hint of grim satisfaction in her voice. They have no idea we've been watching them, learning from their previous attacks. The alien fleet's response to Earth's warning finally came, broadcast on all frequencies. The message was short, transmitted in the universal language they used with all their victims. Your resistance is noted. Your species will be harvested. Your technology will be assimilated. Typical, Elena muttered. They always say the same thing. Never bothered to learn that some species might bite back. Across Earth, hidden defensive installations began powering up. The quantum grid, invisible to conventional sensors, started to pulse with energy. In underground bases, orbital platforms, and secret lunar facilities, humanity's real military might stirred to life. All stations, this is Admiral Chen. Sarah's voice rang out across the quantum network. The enemy has made their intentions clear. Initiate Operation Prometheus. Authorization code: Phoenix Rising. Elena's fingers flew across her holographic controls. Quantum grid activating. Beginning full power-up sequence. Around Earth, thousands of seemingly innocent satellites simultaneously revealed their true nature. The quantum field they generated would be humanity's shield, and it soared. The alien fleet accelerated, confident in their overwhelming firepower. Their sensors showed only a handful of primitive defense satellites and a few small military bases. Their scans revealed weapons that seemed barely capable of interplanetary travel, let alone standing against their advanced technology. They didn't detect the quantum field until they were already inside it. Grid stability at 100%, Elena reported. All nodes are synchronized. We have them, Admiral. Sarah watched as the massive alien ships entered weapons range. Send the response to their message, she ordered. Let's show them what humanity is really capable of. Elena transmitted the carefully prepared message. Your analysis is flawed. Your assumptions are incorrect. Your fleet is now within our quantum field. You were warned. The alien ships suddenly slowed, their sensors finally detecting something they couldn't understand. Energy readings they couldn't explain began appearing all around their fleet. The quantum field, invisible moments ago, now revealed itself as a vast web of interconnected energy points, each one a weapon unlike anything they had encountered in their centuries of conquest. They're trying to power up their main weapons, Marcus reported, watching the alien fleet's reaction. But the quantum field is already affecting their systems. Their energy signatures are becoming unstable. This was the moment humanity had prepared for. While the aliens had spent centuries perfecting their conventional weapons of mass destruction, Earth had taken a different path. They had developed technology that operated on principles their enemies couldn't comprehend, let alone defend against. All stations, Sarah's voice was steady as she gave the order that would change the course of human history. Execute Operation Prometheus. Show them why Earth was never going to be an easy target. The quantum grid pulsed with blinding energy. In orbit around Earth, what had appeared to be simple communications satellites transformed into weapons platforms that operated outside the normal laws of physics. The trap had been set, and humanity's greatest deception was about to bear fruit. As the alien fleet realized their mistake, it was already too late. They had ignored humanity's warning, confident in their technological superiority. Now they would learn why that was the greatest mistake they could have made. The battle for Earth was about to begin, but it wouldn't be the one-sided slaughter the aliens had expected. Humanity had spent generations preparing for this moment, and they were about to demonstrate just how dangerous an apparently primitive species could be when pushed too far. The revelation. The quantum grid flared to life, bathing near-Earth space in an ethereal blue glow that defied conventional physics. In the Prometheus Control Center, Helena Volkov watched as the alien fleet's energy signatures began to fluctuate wildly. The invaders' mighty warships, each one capable of destroying entire planets, suddenly found themselves trapped in humanity's carefully laid trap. First wave of quantum disruption successful, Elena reported, her voice steady despite the tension. Their shield harmonics are destabilizing exactly as predicted. Admiral Chen's hologram nodded grimly. Begin Phase 2. Let's show them what happens when you underestimate humanity. The alien fleet's response was immediate and predictable. Their massive ships opened fire, releasing enough energy to shatter continents, But as their weapons struck the quantum field, something unprecedented happened. Instead of impacting Earth's defenses, the energy simply disappeared. Energy absorption at 100%. Marcus Rodriguez called out from his station. The quantum sinks are performing beyond expectations. Every shot they fire only makes our field stronger. In the void of space, the alien fleet's command ship broadcast another message, this time with a note of confusion in their usually emotionless transmission. Impossible. Your technology cannot exist. Your species is primitive. Sarah Chen allowed herself a small smile. Send the response. Elena transmitted humanity's message. Your assessment was based on what we wanted you to see. Your arrogance has led you into a trap centuries in the making. Surrender now, or witness humanity's true power. The aliens responded with another barrage, this time targeting Earth's apparent defense installations. Their weapons, capable of reducing planets to ash, splashed harmlessly against the quantum field. Each attack was absorbed, converted, and channeled back into humanity's defense grid. They're attempting to analyze the quantum field, Marcus reported, monitoring the alien fleet's sensor activities. But their technology operates on completely different principles. They literally cannot understand what they're seeing. In the command ship of the alien fleet, the supreme commander of the Harvest Fleet faced something it had never encountered in centuries of conquest. Their sensors showed impossible readings, their weapons had no effect, and their supposedly inferior prey had somehow developed technology that defied their understanding of physics itself. All stations, Admiral Chen's voice rang through the quantum network. Initiate attack pattern Delta. Show them what happens when humanity stops playing nice. The quantum grid pulsed, and thousands of points of light emerged from what appeared to be empty space. Humanity's true weapon platforms, hidden in dimensional pockets that the alien sensors couldn't detect, revealed themselves. Each one was powered by the very energy the alien fleet had wastefully fired at Earth. Quantum resonance weapons online, Elena reported. Target solutions locked. Ready to fire on your command, Admiral. Sarah Chen stood on the lunar defense station, watching the holographic display as humanity's real military might emerge from hiding. All units, weapons free. Demonstrate to our uninvited guests why they should have taken our warning seriously. The first strike from Earth's quantum weapons wasn't designed to destroy. Instead, it precisely targeted the alien fleet's propulsion systems, using principles of physics that the invaders had never encountered. Ships that had confidently entered Earth's orbit suddenly found themselves unable to move, their advanced engines rendered useless by weapons they couldn't comprehend. By the eternal void, the alien commander's transmission carried genuine fear for the first time. What are you? Elena sent the response they had prepared for this moment. We are humanity. We saw you coming centuries ago. We watched as you destroyed other civilizations. We learned. We adapted. We prepared. And now you face the consequences of your actions. The quantum weapons fired again, this time targeting the alien fleet's weapon systems. Beams of energy that seemed to bend reality itself struck with surgical precision. Weapon ports that could glass entire continents went dark. Shield generators that had withstood the fury of dying stars flickered and failed. 80% of their offensive capabilities have been neutralized, Marcus reported, his voice filled with professional satisfaction. Their remaining weapons are operating at less than 10% efficiency. In orbit, the alien fleet's formation began to break. Ships that had never known defeat attempted to retreat, only to find their faster-than-light drives unresponsive. The quantum field that had trapped them continued to strengthen, powered by their own desperate attempts to escape. They're attempting to send a transmission to their homeworld, Elena noted, monitoring the quantum communications array. Should we block it? Admiral Chen considered for a moment. No. Let them transmit. Let their entire species know what happens when they threaten Earth. The alien fleet's distress signal painted a picture that would send shockwaves through their empire. A supposedly primitive species had not only resisted their attack, but had rendered their supposedly invincible fleet helpless. The message carried a level of panic that none of their kind had felt in generations. "Final warning to the invasion fleet," Sarah transmitted. "Your ships are disabled. Your weapons are useless. Your choice is simple: surrender and face justice for your crimes against sentient species, or force us to demonstrate the full extent of our capabilities." The quantum grid pulsed one final time, and every alien ship in Earth's orbit found their internal systems accessed and controlled by humanity's technology. Centuries of arrogance and unopposed conquest had left them vulnerable to attacks they couldn't imagine, let alone defend against. In the Prometheus Control Center, Elena watched as the alien fleet's energy signatures stabilized at minimal levels. They were defeated, their mighty ships now nothing more than expensive orbiting debris. Humanity had not just survived. They had dominated a force that had terrorized the galaxy for centuries. "Status report," Admiral Chen requested, though she could already see the result on her displays. "The alien fleet is completely neutralized," Elena confirmed. "Project Prometheus was a success beyond our highest expectations. Earth is safe." The battle was over, but humanity's revelation to the galaxy was just beginning. The species that everyone had dismissed as primitive had just defeated the most powerful fleet in known space. The message was clear: humanity was not to be underestimated. The reckoning. In the hours following humanity's decisive victory, the captured alien fleet hung motionless in Earth's orbit, their once mighty ships now silent monuments to overconfidence. Admiral Sarah Chen stood in the newly established interrogation chamber aboard the Lunar Defense Station, facing the supreme commander of the defeated invasion force. The alien leader, a towering figure with iridescent scales and multiple sets of eyes, seemed diminished somehow, its previous arrogance replaced by something approaching fear. "You hide in plain sight," the alien commander said, its translator converting complex harmonics into human speech. "For centuries, we watched your species. We saw primitive rockets, basic space stations, limited colonies. How long have you been deceiving the galaxy?" Sarah allowed herself a small, cold smile. "Since we first detected your kind destroying the Proxima Centauri civilization. Did you really think we wouldn't notice? That we wouldn't prepare?" In the Prometheus Control Center, Elena Volkov and Marcus Rodriguez were analyzing the vast treasure trove of data they'd extracted from the captured alien ships. Their quantum technology had not only defeated the fleet, but had also given them complete access to the invaders' databases. "Admiral," Elena's voice came through the quantum comm, "you need to see this. Their empire, it's vast, but it's built on stolen technology. They've been systematically destroying civilizations and taking their innovations for centuries." The alien commander's multiple eyes narrowed. "We are the harvesters. We take what we need to ensure our species' dominance. It is our right." "Was," Sarah corrected. "Past tense. Your empire's reign of terror ends today." She activated a holographic display showing the quantum grid extending far beyond Earth's orbit. "While you were focused on our apparent defenses, we were mapping every quantum signature in your fleet, including the automated distress beacons you activated." The commander's scales shifted color in what humans had learned was a sign of distress. "What have you done?" "We followed your signals," Marcus explained, joining the conversation through his hologram. "Your entire command structure, every hidden base, every secret installation. We know where they all are. And thanks to your own technology, we now have proof of every atrocity you've committed." In space, humanity's quantum network was expanding at an impossible rate. The technology that had seemed confined to Earth's orbit was spreading through the galaxy like a web of justice, using the aliens' own communication networks as conduits. "Your empire is built on quantum entanglement technology you stole from the Proxima Centauri civilization," Elena continued, her voice carrying the hint of disgust. "But you never fully understood how it worked. We did. And now we're using it to dismantle everything you've built." Reports were flooding in from across the galaxy. hidden human quantum sensors, disguised as space debris and scattered throughout known space over decades, were activating. The Harvester's entire military infrastructure was being systematically shut down, their weapons disabled, their ships stranded. "Impossible," the commander whispered. "Our empire has stood for millennia. We cannot be defeated by primitives." Sarah's expression hardened. "Your empire stood because no one else saw you coming. We did. Every civilization you destroyed left behind warnings, data, fragments of their technology. We found them all. We learned from them. We advanced beyond anything you could imagine, all while letting you think we were barely space-capable." In the Quantum Network's control center, Elena was coordinating with secret human outposts throughout the galaxy. "Phase 4 initiated," she reported. "Our quantum protocols are rewriting their entire defense network. Their remaining fleets are being locked down as we speak." The alien commander watched in horror as holographic displays showed the status of the Harvester Empire. Military installations were going dark. Ship after ship was being neutralized. And through it all, humanity's quantum field continued to expand, carried by the very communication networks the Harvesters had used to coordinate their conquests. "Your empire devoted itself to stealing technology and destroying its creators," Sarah said, her voice carrying the weight of centuries of human preparation. "We devoted ourselves to understanding, to innovation, to creating defenses against exactly this kind of threat. You thought you were the hunters. You never considered that someone might be hunting you." Marcus's hologram flickered as he brought up new data. "Admiral, we're detecting massive population movements throughout their territory. The species they've enslaved. They're rising up. The quantum field is disabling the Harvester's control systems." This had been part of humanity's plan from the beginning. Not just to defeat the Harvesters, but to liberate their victims. Every piece of technology they'd developed had been designed with this moment in mind. "Your choice is simple," Sarah told the commander. "Order your remaining forces to stand down, or watch as we dismantle your empire piece by piece. Either way, the age of the Harvesters is over." The quantum grid pulsed again, and new signals began broadcasting throughout the galaxy. The truth about the Harvesters, evidence of their crimes, and the knowledge that they had finally been defeated by a species they had dismissed as primitive. It was a message of hope for countless civilizations that had lived in fear of the Harvester's return. "You don't understand what you're doing," the commander protested. "The galaxy needs order. Structure. Our dominance maintains stability." "No," Sarah countered. "The galaxy needs justice, and today, humanity is delivering it. Your empire didn't maintain stability. It maintained terror. That ends now." As if to emphasize her point, another wave of reports came in. The Harvesters' subjugated worlds were declaring independence. Their slave races were breaking free. And through it all, humanity's quantum network ensured that no retaliation would be possible. The revelation was complete. Humanity had not just defended Earth, they had changed the galaxy forever. The species that everyone had dismissed as primitive had orchestrated the downfall of an empire that had terrorized the stars for millennia. And they had done it all without firing a single shot in anger, using the very technology the Harvesters had stolen and corrupted. It was perhaps the greatest irony in galactic history. The empire of thieves, undone by their own stolen prizes in the hands of those who truly understood them. The dawn. 1 month after humanity's victory over the Harvester fleet, the Great Hall of the United Earth Defense Council was filled with representatives from across the galaxy. Species that had hidden from the Harvesters for generations now sat alongside humans, their fear replaced by hope and curiosity. The chamber, designed to accommodate beings of all shapes and sizes, hummed with dozens of languages, all being seamlessly translated by quantum technology. Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the podium, surveying the assembled delegates. Next to her, Dr. Elena Volkov and Dr. Marcus Rodriguez were preparing to present humanity's vision for the future. The fallen Harvester commander, now a prisoner of war, watched from a secure observation area, their once mighty presence reduced to that of a cautionary tale. For centuries, Sarah began, her words echoing through the chamber. The galaxy lived in fear of the harvesters. Species hid their technological advances, buried their achievements, and lived in constant dread of discovery. Today, that era ends not just for Earth, but for all sentient beings. The quantum projection system activated, showing a real-time map of the galaxy. Points of light represented liberated worlds, freed slave populations, and the remnants of the Harvester Empire being systematically dismantled by humanity's technology. Belina stepped forward, her holographic displays showing the true extent of human advancement. What the Harvesters never understood was that true power doesn't come from stealing technology. It comes from understanding it. They took quantum science from the Proxima Centauri civilization and used it as a weapon. We studied it, improved it, and turned it into a shield for all life. In orbit above Earth, the captured harvester ships were being repurposed. Their weapons had been removed, their systems completely redesigned. Under the supervision of human engineers, they were being transformed into research vessels and humanitarian aid ships. Our victory wasn't just about defeating an enemy, Marcus explained to the assembled delegates. It was about proving that advancement doesn't have to come at the cost of destruction. The harvesters spent millennia taking. We choose to give. The alien representatives murmured in appreciation as humanity revealed their next initiative. The quantum network that had defeated the harvesters was being reconfigured into a galaxy-wide communication and defense system, freely available to all peaceful species. We understand the fear, Sarah continued. Many of you are wondering if we're simply replacing one dominant power with another. That's why today, we're not just celebrating victory. We're proposing a new way forward. The holographic display shifted, showing plans for an interstellar council, not dominated by humans, but truly representative of all spacefaring species. The quantum network would ensure transparency and prevent any single power from ever again threatening galactic peace. From their observation area, the Harvester commander watched as everything they had built was transformed into something they had never considered, a force for unity rather than dominance. Your empire taught the galaxy that advanced technology meant destruction. Elena addressed the former commander directly. We're going to teach them that it can mean creation, protection, and growth instead. The quantum network pulsed again, but this time it carried messages of hope. Technical specifications for medical equipment, plans for environmental restoration, methods for reversing the damage the harvesters had done to countless worlds, all freely shared with species that had been denied such knowledge for generations. This is humanity's true power, Marcus explained to the assembled delegates. Not our weapons, not our deception, but our ability to learn, to understand, and to share. The age of hoarding knowledge ends today. Representatives from formerly enslaved species approached the podium, each sharing stories of their world's liberation. The quantum network had not just freed them, it had given them back their history, their culture, their identity. Sarah raised her hand for attention. But our work isn't finished. The galaxy bears deep scars from centuries of harvester rule. Entire species need to be relocated to their homeworlds. Stolen artifacts need to be returned. Environments need to be restored. This is where humanity's real mission begins. The holographic displays showed the next phase of Earth's plan. Fleets of ships, not for war, but for reconstruction. Teams of scientists, engineers, and diplomats ready to help rebuild what the harvesters had destroyed. We hid our true nature for centuries, Elena added, watching, learning, preparing. Now it's time to show the galaxy who we really are. Not conquerors, not hunters, but builders, teachers, healers. In the secure observation area, the Harvester commander finally spoke. We thought we were superior because we took what we wanted. But you defeated us by understanding what we never could. Power isn't about taking. It's about creating. Exactly. Sarah nodded. And that's the lesson we want every species to learn. The galaxy doesn't need emperors or conquerors. It needs partners, allies, friends. As the assembly concluded, representatives from hundreds of worlds lined up to sign the new Galactic Accord. The document, written in quantum code that could never be altered or corrupted, established the principles that would guide interstellar relations in the post-harvester era. Earth, the planet that had pretended to be primitive while advancing beyond anyone's imagination, would not rule. Instead, they would serve as guardians, teachers, and mediators. Their quantum network would ensure peace not through force, but through understanding and cooperation. The dawn of a new age had arrived. Humanity had not just saved itself, it had transformed the galaxy. And as the delegates departed to spread the news to their homeworlds, one thing became crystal clear. The species that everyone had dismissed as primitive had become the architects of a better future for all sentient life. The story of humanity's great deception was over. The story of their greatest creation, a truly united galaxy, was just beginning.